Eagles?
It's tough when you don't play well.
Tom Brady thinking he has one more down, but this game is over.
Whatever Aaron Rodgers is doing, tell him to keep doing, because that man is on fire.
Because we number one.
It's always comforting when you have a quarterback of our caliber.
Tom's got to be Tom. I'm not going to ask him to be somebody different.
I'm not playing against Tom. I'm playing against the Buccaneers defense.
Because we number one.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to First Take on this Friday. I'm Charlie Arnold, joined by Max Kellerman. We have Stephen A. Smith, all of us in studio for what seems like the first time in a while. You were out in L.A.
Yes.
Covering the playoffs. How was that?
Yes, don't remind me. I didn't want to be back. I mean, I had to go out to Los Angeles. I had a lot of things going on, but I must confess to you and Max Kellerman that I took some time and I met with a psychologist, a therapist rather, to help me get through the depression that I had that existed because the finals was between Miami and LA, and the games are in Orlando. As opposed to
What did you find in therapy? Did you discover anything about yourself?
I discovered that, I have a problem. And the problem is an addiction to Los Angeles and to South Beach. The combination of the two, I was devastated. I was depressed.
Went through withdrawal.
How are we getting past this problem? What's the answer?
I had to come home and just spend time with loved ones, family members, and my First Take family, hoping that it would cure me. And Max, I have to say, he broke my heart. He wasn't here. Max was in the Hamptons and he wasn't here.
Yeah,
and
right.
That just
fancy guy over here in the Hamptons.
Just left me all alone, So I'm still recovering, but I'm getting there, Max. I'm getting there.
Well, that's good. That's
we all
good.
feel very
the first
sorry
step
for you.
to getting help is realizing that you have a problem. So thank you so much for doing that. Guys, one thing, Stephen, I think that will cheer you up this weekend.
Yeah.
That bad man Aaron Rodgers is taking the field this weekend against the Bucs. And what a battle this one is going to be. The last time we saw Tom Brady, we saw him finishing the game, having lost track of downs on primetime, sealing a loss to the Bears with the Bucs now sitting 3-2 on top of the NFC South along with the Saints. Meanwhile, that bad man Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are a perfect 4-0 coming off a bye week with Rodgers playing out of his mind. The only quarterback with the QBR over 90 at 92.5.
Yeah.
So, Stephen A., whose performance is this game going to be more about? Will it be about Brady or about Rodgers?
I think it's going to be about Brady. And the reason why, I think the evidence is there. They're 3-2 on the season. The two worst games that Brady had are the two games they lost. The first game of the season and the one that they just lost last week. The reality of the situation is that outside of those two games where Tom Brady completed like 63 and 60% of his passes respectively, he completed about 65% of his passes or better than the three consecutive victories that they had. When this dude is clicking and he looks like he's clicking and playing at an elite level, somehow, some way the Tampa Bay Buccaneers find a way to win, whether that's against Carolina, Denver, or the Los Angeles Chargers. We've got to take that into consideration. We also have a license, if we want, to take for granted the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. What we're seeing from him is what we're seeing from him. We anticipate that we will see that from him. So you sort of anticipate what he's going to do. You know what he's going to do. The question is, what kind of answers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to have in response to that? Chris Godwin has missed 3 of the 5 games this season. He's their playmaker at the wide receiver position. Mike Evans is a stud. I got it. But basically, he's open when he's not open. He's not a breakaway kind of player per se. He makes tough things happen in a beneficial fashion. You can sit up there draped all over him. He'll find a way to get a catch.
50-50
exactly.
receiver,
The O.J. Hammond, the O.J. Howards, the Cameron Brates, and those boys, same thing, even though it's not to that degree. Chris Godwin is the breakaway dude. Tom Brady has not been with that weapon. And I don't think, if I remember correctly, I'm not sure if he'll be back or not this week. But in the end, what it comes down to is
questionable.
He's questionable. Yeah. The success of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is going to be predicated on Tom Brady. We know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. The question is, will Tom Brady be up to the task of matching?
And don't forget, Devontae Adams will be back for the Packers.
Sure.
Right. The storyline, you're absolutely right. You've identified the storyline heading into the game. But in terms of whose performance will actually determine the outcome of the game, Tom Brady, as usual, since he went down that ravine, Stephen A.
The ravine.
It looked like a cliff from far away. But when I got closer, it turns out it was just a ravine.
You see those Beetlejuice eyes? I can't believe that he needs glasses. You talk about a cliff to a ravine. If anybody would know the difference between a cliff and a ravine immediately,
from far away, Stephen A.
It would be you.
It was a mirage. But
those are binoculars right there. Go ahead.
Tom Brady, as usual in the last couple of years, it's not that he can't make throws when you need him to. He's surrounded by offensive weapons, even with the injuries. There's a couple of good tight ends. He's going to have one of his stud receivers. He's riding a defense. He has a real good coach and a defense, and that's what the Bucs are about. The Bucs, if you had to say, what's the signature of the Bucs so far this year, that defense is pretty good. Aaron Rodgers is playing on a team, and Aaron Jones has been excellent. Yeah. But he's been playing on a team whose defense is closer to Seattle's than an elite defense. They're not only like a bend but not break. Nah, they bend and break. They give up points. That is not a stud kind of defense. It is incumbent upon Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he's getting Davante Adams back. Who knows if Davante Adams will be 100%, but he hasn't had him recently. When he's finding receivers all over the field that no one has ever heard of. It's like if you replaced Aaron Rodgers with just any old quarterback, this Green Bay Packers team wouldn't be anything. We wouldn't be talking about the Packers now. This is about Aaron Rodgers. This is the Aaron Rodgers show. And LaFleur, look, the reason those no-name receivers are making catches, it's not just that Rodgers has always been more accurate than Brady. He's always had a better arm, right? It's that he's scheming these guys open. A lot of open receivers. So I give credit where credit's due. LaFleur, it's always the quarterback and the coach. But in terms of the players on the field, Aaron Rodgers' play will determine the outcome of the game. He doesn't have anything else to rely on, his running back. But it's really Rodgers who's going to do it. If you replace him with someone else, the Packers are maybe a 500 team, maybe not even. Aaron Rodgers, we're talking about the Super Bowl.
Well, we've seen what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are without Tom Brady. I mean, we know that. I mean, Jameis Winston giving us new meaning for 30 for 30. I mean, 30 interceptions and 30 touchdowns and all of this other stuff. He just new meaning. But he'll be back. So he'll be back someday in the near future, and I think that he'll learn the error of his ways. But in the end, what it comes down to is this. What you're saying about Aaron Rodgers is a good point, but I'd piggyback off of your earlier point prior to that, Max, where you talked about this defense. It bends a lot. If you look at the Green Bay Packers and what they do, you know what? You can exploit their defense to some degree. It's not a horrible defense by any stretch of the imagination, but in the same breath, you can exploit them. And in the end, by the way, Davante Adams is not a no-name. He's not a scrub. He can ball. He can ball. Valdez-Scantling, he can ball. He's not a scrub. They've got resumes that shows what they can bring to the table. So I got to pay attention to that. In the case of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we understand who Tom Brady is, and the bottom line is that when you look at Bruce Arians and the way he likes to air it out, he leads on his quarterback heavily. If he was willing to take chances with Jameis Winston,